I never told my cousin I was the one who told Grandma about the abortion because I thought she deserved to know, but not from me, and when my cousin showed up crying saying someone betrayed me, I just held her and swallowed the guilt so she could blame someone else. Let me start with this. I didn't mean to ruin Shelby's life. I didn't plan it. But the guilt sits on me like wet concrete, and now I can feel her starting to push back, hard. Shelby and I were always close. Not like most cousins. More like sisters. She lived across town, just 10 minutes away. We shared clothes in high school, covered for each other, even went to the same community college for a while. But people always saw her as the good one. She was the sweet, church-going, clean-cut girl who never cursed, never drank, always smiled. Me? I got caught shoplifting when I was 16. Smoked pot. Had a rough breakup with a married guy. Yeah, I've made my share of mistakes. But Shelby? Everyone thought she walked on water. That's why when she showed up at my apartment last year, shaking and pale and crying, I knew it was big. I messed up, she said. I had an abortion. We were sitting on my couch, her hands wrapped tight around a mug of peppermint tea. I didn't say anything at first. I just listened while she poured it out. How she met this guy, Ethan, at work. How it was just casual, and then one day she missed her period. How she panicked, made an appointment in Indy, drove herself there, cried the whole way back. Didn't tell him. Didn't tell her mom. Didn't even tell her best friend. She only told me. I can't tell Grandma, she said. She'd never forgive me. She'd throw me out of the family. I nodded. Because she was probably right. Our grandma, Lucille, is old-school Catholic. We're talking rosary every night, Fox News on all day, no dancing at weddings Catholic. She hosts Sunday dinner every week, runs the church rummage sale, and still writes physical Christmas cards with Bible verses inside. She loves hard, but it's a conditional kind of love. You cross a moral line, you're out. I didn't tell Shelby this, but I didn't feel all that shocked by her story. I mean, we're grown. Things happen. We make choices. I didn't think less of her. But somewhere deep down, I felt something else. Something cold and sharp. Not jealousy exactly, but a kind of righteousness. Like, for once, I had something on her. For once, she had the kind of secret people judged me for. I kept it to myself for a while. 2, maybe 3 weeks. But then Grandma called me one afternoon. She was making her usual rounds, checking in on the grandkids, seeing who was coming to dinner. And she asked, "Have you seen Shelby lately? She hasn't been to church. Is she all right?" And I hesitated. Just for a second. Then I said, "She's okay. Just been going through something. Something kind of private." Grandma's voice went tight. "What kind of something?" I shrugged, even though she couldn't see me. "I think she had some kind of procedure. I don't know the details." I didn't use the word. But I didn't have to. 2 days later, it blew up. Shelby got ambushed. Aunt Marianne called her over for coffee, then cornered her with questions. Grandma was waiting at home. The second Shelby walked in, the yelling started. Not loud, but worse, quiet, angry disappointment. "You killed your baby. God sees everything. I raised you better." Shelby called me that night. She was hysterical. "They know. They fucking know," she sobbed. "I didn't tell anyone but you." I froze. I didn't say anything, I lied. I swear. She believed me. Or wanted to believe me. She said maybe Ethan found out and told someone. Maybe it was the receptionist at the clinic. She came up with a dozen theories. I let her. I sat on my floor with the phone pressed to my ear, whispering comfort while my stomach twisted in knots. I told her everything would be okay. I told her I had her back. She cried for a long time and I held on to the lie like it was a life raft. She didn't talk to Grandma for months after that. She pulled away from the family. Quit the volleyball team. Deleted Facebook. Moved in with a friend across town. But she still talked to me. That was the cruel part. I was the only one she still trusted. She told me she felt hollow. She said she had dreams about a baby crying. That she couldn't pray anymore. That she hated herself. I told her it wasn't her fault. That she had to forgive herself. But I never admitted it was me. Months passed. I thought maybe the whole thing would fade. Families forget. People move on. Then came the wine night. It was late summer. We were on my back patio, drinking cheap red wine out of mismatched glasses. Shelby was talking about starting over. Asheville. Maybe Oregon. I can't stay here, she said. Everywhere I go, I feel people staring. I was tipsy. Loose. I said, maybe Grandma needed to know. She was going to find out eventually. Shelby's face changed. What? I tried to backpedal. I just mean, secrets like that, they don't stay buried. She stared at me. Hard. Like she was putting something together. Then she got up, grabbed her keys, and left. No goodbye. No hug. Just gone. That was 5 months ago. Since then, nothing. No texts. No calls. No likes on Instagram. Just silence. Then last week, I got a letter. No return address. My name written in block letters. Inside, one line, you swallowed the guilt, but I hope it chokes you. That was it. No signature. No other words. And since then, little things have started happening. Subtle at first. My tire slashed in the church parking lot. A fake Yelp review that got my job called into HR. My mailbox ripped off the post. Then, last night, someone egged my car. She never had to say it. I know it's her. She's not crying anymore. She's coming. And I think she wants more than an apology. I thought the letter would be the end of it, her way of saying her piece and moving on. But then things started to escalate. The first real hit came when my manager called me into his office. I work front desk at a dental office in Warsaw. Easy job, decent pay. He looked serious, the kind of face people make when they're about to fire you but want to be polite first. Hey, we got a complaint. Someone said you shared private patient information? That you talked about someone's appointment out loud in the waiting area? My heart dropped. That's a big deal in medical work. HIPAA violation big. I didn't say anything, I told him. He just nodded. I'm not saying I believe it. But I have to write you up. If we get another complaint, he didn't finish. I knew it was her. Shelby. No one else would go this far. Later that day, someone tagged our business Facebook page with a 1-star review. It said I was rude, unprofessional, and shared private details about people's mouths. Their mouths. That night, I sat in my car shaking, staring at my phone, thumb hovering over her name in my contacts. I didn't call. I couldn't. Instead, I started watching her Instagram stories. She didn't block me. I don't think she wanted to. I think she wanted me to see what she was doing. Subtle digs. Posts about fake friends and snakes in the grass. A close-up photo of a pair of silver earrings I'd lent her a year ago with the caption, "Guess it's mine now." The worst was a picture of my apartment door. Just the number, 6B, with a cracked egg on the mat. No caption. That one chilled me. I told myself I'd confront her. But when I saw her at the grocery store a week later, I froze. She walked right past me. No eye contact. No reaction. Just cold. And then the text came. From a number I didn't recognize. Don't forget, guilt spreads. People start asking questions. No name. But it didn't have to be signed. The next morning, Grandma called me. "You're not gonna believe this," she said. "Someone left a note in my mailbox. Said I should ask you why you really told me about Shelby. Said you were trying to ruin her life." I laughed, nervous, fake. That's insane. Who would even do that? But inside I felt like vomiting. Shelby was turning it back on me now. Turning Grandma against me. I could feel it shifting. For once, I was the villain in the story, and she was the wounded girl who just wanted peace. I started locking my doors at night. Checking over my shoulder. Avoiding mutual friends. But the next twist hit where it hurt most. My landlord called me. "Hey, you having any trouble with the neighbor?" "No?" "Well, someone's been complaining about loud music, arguments, weird smells. I got an anonymous tip saying you might be using again." I hadn't touched drugs in years. I'd cleaned up my life. But I knew what this was. Another strike. Another blow. Shelby wasn't trying to get even. She was trying to destroy me. That night, I got another letter. Same handwriting. No stamp this time, hand-delivered. Let's see what Grandma says when I start talking. Now I knew what this was leading to. She was going to flip the story. Paint me as the one who pushed her into it. Maybe even say it was my idea. Say I encouraged her. That I was bitter, jealous, and wanted to drag her down. And maybe she wouldn't be completely wrong. I was jealous. I was bitter. And I did open my damn mouth when I shouldn't have. But I wasn't going to let her win. No more hiding. No more guilt. If she wanted war, she was gonna get one. I started digging. If she was going to drag me down, I wasn't going to make it easy. First thing I did was call Taylor, Shelby's old roommate. They used to be close before all this. Taylor and I were never best friends, but we followed each other on socials, commented here and there. I figured it was worth a shot. "Hey," I said when she picked up. "This is going to sound random, but, has Shelby been talking about me?" There was a pause. Then Taylor said, "Oh. So you're the cousin." That hit like a punch. What's that supposed to mean? "She told me you outed her to the whole family. Said you've been obsessed with her since you were kids. That you tried to control her, sabotage her, all that." I just sat there, stunned. She's saying I'm obsessed with her? Taylor sighed. "Look, I don't want to get involved, okay? I already had to ask her to move out." She was getting weird. Paranoid. She put a chain lock on her bedroom door, wouldn't let me borrow anything, said people were tracking her. That surprised me. She said that? Yeah. And she kept this notebook. Wrote down everyone she thought betrayed her. Had names. Dates. Circled stuff. Your name came up more than once. I asked if she still had it. She said no, Shelby took it when she left. But now I knew. She wasn't just angry. She was obsessing over it. The betrayal didn't just hurt her, it broke something in her. And I had caused it. The next day, I went to Grandma's house. Not for dinner. Just to talk. I had to get ahead of whatever Shelby was planning. Grandma opened the door wearing her blue cardigan, the one she always wore when she was tired. Her eyes looked older somehow. "What's going on?" she asked. I stepped inside. Sat on the same couch where this whole mess began. "Shelby's turning people against me," I said. "I never meant for any of this to happen. I didn't even tell you directly. I told Aunt Marianne, and it just spread." Grandma nodded slowly, like she already knew. "Maybe she did. She left another note in your mailbox, didn't she?" She didn't answer. "Grandma, she's not okay." She's keeping lists. Sending threats. She slashed my tires. Still nothing. Then Grandma said, she came here last week. Said you manipulated her. Said you threatened to tell if she didn't cut me out of her life. That was a lie. A bold one. I never, she said you told her abortion was the only option. That she cried and you laughed. I felt dizzy. She's rewriting everything, I whispered. She looked me in the eye, Grandma said. She cried. Said you wanted to punish her for being the one the family loved. I stared at the floor. Maybe there was a piece of truth in that. But not like this. I left Grandma's house knowing the ground had shifted. I could feel it, people were starting to believe her version. The letter was just her warning shot. Now she was waging full-on psychological war. And then came the job. I got called into HR 2 days later. The Yelp review was just the start. Someone had emailed corporate pretending to be a patient, said I was working under the influence. Said I came in high and dropped instruments. Even included a fake name and phone number. I was put on unpaid leave pending review. That same night, my car got keyed. Deep, wide slashes down the driver's side. And on the windshield, written in lipstick, "You ruined my life. Now I'm taking yours." I didn't even call the cops. What was I going to say? My cousin's getting revenge because I told our grandmother about her abortion? They'd laugh me out of the station. So I did the one thing I never thought I would. I started planning my own move. Not just defense. Not just damage control. If Shelby wanted a war, I was going to give her one she'd never forget. I stopped playing nice. Shelby had crossed lines I didn't even know existed. She'd torn apart my job, my reputation, my safety. She was spiraling, dragging me with her. And yeah, I started this. I opened my mouth. I told Aunt Marianne. I let the secret out. But if I was going down, I wasn't going alone. I started documenting everything. I took photos of the egged car. The keyed doors. Screenshots of the anonymous messages. The lipstick threat. I asked the neighbors for footage from their ring cams. One of them actually caught her car driving away the night my tires got slashed. Blurry, but clear enough to make out the plate. I printed everything. Then I filed for a restraining order. The officer I talked to didn't laugh. He listened. Took notes. Said they'd send someone by to talk to her. That they couldn't guarantee much, unless she escalates, but it was a start. I also called Taylor again. Can you send me anything from that notebook she kept? Just a photo? She hesitated, then texted me a picture she'd secretly taken before Shelby moved out. It showed my name circled in red ink, underlined twice. The word liar scribbled next to it. I added that to my file. But I wasn't done. I needed her to feel it, the same way I had. Not just fear. Shame. So I wrote my own letter. Only I didn't send it to Shelby. I sent it to Grandma. I told her the truth. All of it. That I was the one who told Aunt Marianne. That I was jealous. That I thought Grandma deserved to know, but I couldn't bring myself to tell her directly. That I let Shelby take the fall. That I lied when she asked me. I owned every word of it. And then, at the bottom, I added, but what Shelby's doing now isn't justice. It's cruelty. 2 days later, Grandma called. She didn't yell. She just said, "It was brave, what you did." Telling the truth. Even if it was late. And for the first time in months, I felt a little lighter. But then I got the call from the police. Shelby had been arrested. Vandalism. Harassment. Violation of a restraining order. They'd gone to her apartment to serve the papers, and she lost it. Screamed at the officers, tried to slam the door. One of the officers noticed the knife marks on her wall, little notches with names next to them. Mine. Grandma's. Taylor's. Even her ex-boyfriend Ethan. She'd carved them into the drywall. They took her in on a 72-hour hold. The detective told me she needed help. That they weren't pressing charges, yet. But if I wanted to go forward with anything, I had enough evidence. I didn't know what to do with that. Pressing charges meant making it real. It meant destroying her record, maybe her future. But part of me thought, maybe she deserved it. And then I saw her. In court. They let me sit in the back. She looked smaller. Pale. Her hair was messy, like she hadn't slept in days. When she turned her head and saw me, her eyes locked on mine. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just stared. Hollow. And that's when I realized something. I had ruined her life. Not the abortion. Not the family. Not Grandma. Me. I broke her trust, then let her bleed out alone. I didn't press charges. I let it go. But I cut her off completely. Blocked her number. Deleted the old pictures. Gave her earrings to Goodwill. Moved to Fort Wayne 6 months later, took a job at another clinic, changed my number. I don't talk about Shelby anymore. Not to family. Not to friends. But sometimes I wonder how different it all would have been, if I'd just kept my damn mouth shut. Or if I'd had the guts to tell the truth when it still mattered. Either way, we're both ghosts now. And every time I hear the name Shelby, my stomach turns. Because I know I started something I couldn't finish. And deep down, I'm still choking on it.